Canada is joining other Western countries in condemning Belarus for diverting a passenger plane so it could arrest journalist and activist Roman Protasevich.
The behavior of the Belarus regime is outrageous, illegal, and completely unacceptable. This was a clear attack on democracy and on the freedom of the press. We condemn it and call for his immediate release. We also condemn this kind of dangerous interference in civil aviation.
Canada has already imposed sanctions on Belarus, and Trudeau says he's now considering further action. In the last half hour, the Canadian government has now advised Canadian air operators and owners of aircraft registered in Canada to avoid entering Belarus's airspace due to safety concerns. The European Union, meanwhile, plans to announce new economic sanctions that will target people and businesses supporting the Belarusian government. Melita Gabric is head of the European Union delegation in Ottawa. Ambassador Gabric, how do you decide what individuals to sanction?
Well, thank you for your question. I would first of all like to point out that we are speaking about hijacking by Belarusian authorities of the civilian plane, which is a completely and utterly unacceptable breach of all international norms, standards, and rules. So the response to this kind of behavior, an outrageous behavior, needs to be commensurate. And that's why the EU decided to sanction individuals who are actually connected or have been connected to the hijacking, and also against those business entities that support the authoritarian regime of the Belarusian president.
I want to talk about that regime because President Lukashenko has been in power now 27 years, has stifled any attempt at democracy, at any real reform, certainly tried to crush any dissent. We're seeing an example of that right now. How do you see this event in the broader context, and why is it likely now could result in any difference?
Well, as European leaders stated after this incident, the hijacking was an attack on democracy. It was an attack on freedom of expression, because the purpose of this incident was to apprehend the opposition journalist Roman Protasevich, and also the forced landing was an attack on European sovereignty. The plane, it is EU aircraft, was flying from one EU country to another. And I would say that this is really an outrageous behavior, but it is not completely unexpected, or it's not completely out of line of what we have seen from this president that has been oppressing the opposition and clamped down on peaceful demonstrations as well as the free media.
These sanctions are not even the first one over the past year. There were sanctions put in place in August after President Lukashenko claimed victory after an election. What would make these most recent sanctions more likely to be effective at sending a clear message and having an effect?
Well, actually, first of all, there is a whole range of measures that are being put in place in response to this incident. The first one is the flight ban. The European Council is developing measures that will prevent the Belarusian aircraft from entering the European Union airspace, as well as accessing the EU airports. So this is a very significant measure, and I believe that the UK and Ukraine have done the same, put similar measures in place. when in effect this will mean that the Belarusian airline will be prevented from flying to 20 EU cities to which it was flying to. In addition to the flight ban, the EU is preparing additional sanctions. Yes, you are right. There are sanctions in place as we speak. There are actually 88 individuals on the list of sanctions of the EU, as well as 7 entities. And the purpose of these sanctions is, of course, to target responsible individuals involved in the hijacking, and also, as I said earlier, against businesses that are financing the Belarusian regime.
I just did want to ask you in the sort of the moments we have left, Ambassador, what would the European Union like for Canada to do to support its efforts?
Well, I would like to say that the EU and Canada have been coordinating all along our response to the rigged presidential elections in Belarus in the summer 2020. And our coordination includes imposing sanctions against these individuals and entities for repression and intimidation of peaceful protesters and journalists. We have been doing this so far. And as we speak, the EU is in close contact with Canada to coordinate our further response.
Ambassador Gabric, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya was in the running to become president of Belarus in 2020. She fled the country after the president now, Alexander Lukashenko, declared a landslide victory, although many believe that she was the one to have won the election. She's been leading the opposition from Lithuania ever since. Svetlana, I know it's a very difficult situation, but do you have any sense of Protasevich's condition in detention right now?
We know that today his lawyer wanted to visit him, but it wasn't allowed to do. But for sure, we understand that his health and life in danger. And yesterday it was a video shooting of Roman Protasevich in public that he says that he's okay, he's treated well, and he is okay. But we see the bruises on his face behind the makeup, and we know that he was beaten. No more information. And today a video from his girlfriend also was in public, where she also says that she accused herself in activity. But we know how in Belarusian jail such shootings are being done under pressure.
I understand your husband was once arrested by Belarusian authorities. Does that give you a sense of what might be happening in this jail?
My husband is a year in jail already, and a lawyer can visit him every week. So he is rather okay, but morally, of course, he's in awful condition, because knowing that you are innocent and you are being kept for 1 year already in jail for nothing, it's stress for every person. But he's keeping rather well, knowing that Belarusian people are fighting for him, as well as international society is standing with Belarus.
And let's talk about international society. So the EU has issued sanctions. Ambassadors have been recalled. Air carriers have suspended flights to Belarus, not allowing Belarus's air carriers into EU airports. What more needs to happen, particularly from Europe, but the world?
Very simple answer: to put more pressure on Lukashenko, because this issue with flight is the result of impunity of Lukashenko. Because since December, European Union and the USA and Canada didn't declare any strong actions about Belarus. Since December, we don't have much attention from the side of democratic countries. And this fact gave Lukashenko this feeling of impunity, and he escalated the repressions toward Belarusian people. And I have to say that international society doesn't have to look at this very issue with the flight separately from the situation, from overall situation in Belarus, because for 9 months already, people in Belarus are fighting, and their human rights are violated, and people are being tortured in jails, and that's why is the result of all this fight. And now this impunity is threatens not only Belarusian inside people, but it's also threatened for people from other countries. So we have to pay, democratic countries have to pay much more attention to our issue, to organize a high-level conference about Belarus, how to get out of political crisis. Because I have to repeat that this issue with flight is the result of impunity of Lukashenko.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Svetlana, that as serious as this one incident is, it is just one incident in the bigger picture. And I see that the EU is using a bit of a carrot and stick approach. So using sanctions now, but also saying that if Belarus turns more democratic, it will up $3 billion or 3 billion euros in funding for Belarus. Is that something that is helpful, basically trying to incentivize a shift away from the way it has been with Lukashenko?
This macro aid that is being prepared by European Union is for future Belarus. It's not the macro aid that will be given to Belarusian to new Belarus, while Lukashenko will keep his power with the help of violence and guns. We insist that all the changes in Belarus and all the assistance should be put only after new, free and fair elections, because it's not time now. Because violation is continuing, and this illegitimate regime can release a couple of political prisoners and tell you, look, we are on our democratic way now. Look, we are releasing people, and don't let him to lie to you. He is illegitimate, so please stay consistent in your policy.
All right, Svetlana, thank you so much for taking the time to help us understand this situation. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And a quick reminder, she seems to be being invited to the G7 meeting, which is coming up to discuss her country's prospects.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.